You should wear those sunglasses sometime.
You what?
I'm looking at your sunglasses on that picture with the big hat on. I like the glasses. They're cool.
All right.
Well, it says we're webinar. It says we're live. We are live.
Yeah, we are live.
Ooh.
Now, you wanted me to just pause, not wait.
Wear those sunglasses sometime.
Mute.
Mute.
Okay, I got it right. Okay, good. Here we go. Yay!
We're live.
I know. Hold on. Let me get my speaker set up here. Yeah.
I like the thumbnail.
I've had so much technical problems. It's just crazy.
Well, can we blame Mercury retrograde because we're in it now?
I'll find something to blame it on. That's for sure.
We've got 6 planets retrograde, or Chiron isn't really a planet, but we've got 6 sort of planets or whatever retrograde right now. So
I'm trying to figure out this whole chat thing because it's not.
Have you clicked on the live? Have you got YouTube open? Is your live chat not open on the side?
Okay, hold on a second here. Sorry, you guys. If I don't know if anybody's even.
We've got 4 people watching.
I don't know, huh?
We have 4 people watching. Say hi in the chat.
Okay, so are you seeing that?
It says 4 people are watching. Yeah, here we go. We've got someone saying hello. Tosh Face says hello. Hi. Can you see that?
You see the chat. I don't see the chat.
This chat does not work. I can see it.
Okay. I don't know. Oh, well, if you can see it, then I guess that's all that matters.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, at least one of us can. So,
because IRX has put this chat does not work. He's probably winding us up because we've got Tosh Face says hello. That must be someone you know. I don't recognize that name. I don't think.
What's the name? It
says Tosh Face.
Oh. I don't know. Maybe that's just somebody saying hi.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys. So we're going to talk. We were actually going to talk about acceptance tonight. But
we accepted change.
We got to chatting about a question that somebody asked about the difference between Kundalini and opening of the third eye. So when we're doing this, I ended up having this whole long conversation with her, and we were like, hey, this is the whole show. We should do this. So yeah, that's kind of, that is what we're going to talk about.
Well, it felt more right because I know I've experienced some of this, like myself. Mm-hmm. Hi, Laura. So Laura Van's in as well. I'll say hi as they're coming in. She said hello. So you can't see the chat at all?
I can't see the chat. And I thought that because I was,
It's your channel. You should be able to both see.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I still haven't.
But you can see us both on YouTube live, can you?
Yeah, I can.
You've got it open, the live show?
Yeah.
Oh.
I do.
Maybe your chat's hidden. Maybe that's something you might need to unhide or something.
All right. Well, I'm not going to worry about it.
You can do that another time now. We've got Rose 77. Rose is saying she can't hear you very well, but I can hear you well, so I don't know.
Oh, let me try getting closer to the speaker. Does this help anybody?
That sounds better.
Okay. So I can hear myself just fine. All right.
I'm going to get one of those new Yeti like mics because they sound really cool. I won't sound like I'm in a goldfish bowl. She said, yeah, that's better.
Okay, so I'll just try to do this when I'm. Maybe I could raise it or something. Let me see. Okay. So interesting conversation that we're going to have tonight. So one of the people in the chat room had asked a question about, is it the same thing, the Kundalini rising and opening the third eye? And so Trisha and I started talking about it, and as we were talking about this, we did a little Googling just to see what the rest of the world thinks. Go ahead.
But I think what we felt was, not saying it has to be right from Google, because obviously, but I feel what we felt ourselves was pretty bang on, that they were different or could be different.
Yeah, so So the Kundalini, when you're activating the Kundalini, there's like this fiery sort of feeling that kind of goes up your spine. And actually, tell your story about how it happened with you. I know it's quite embarrassing, but people like vulnerable, so go for it.
That's okay. I think I've actually shared this probably live before, but for me, I don't know whether I had one before, but a Kundalini awakening or experience I had was during sexual activity, and it's like nothing I've had before. And I won't go into fine detail, but
come on.
You really always get there. That's like a whole other show.
We'll start calling this Sex Talk with Michelle.
Let's just say, I feel if it would say in the missionary position wouldn't have happened. I was...
Okay.
I'm so shy when it comes to stuff public. In private, I'm a little bit different. But so, yeah, I guess my spine was up straight. That's the best way to probably put it. You can use your imagination. Hi, Big P 99. So I was sat upright. And it must have just hit the right spot, and the energy from the bottom of my spine, my sacrum, right from the bottom of my tailbone, it shot right up my spine, right up my neck, and it sort of went over my head into my third eye. And it must have been like, must have wondered what on earth was happening, because I had my hand there and my hand there, and I'm like, oh my God, my head's going to explode. I don't know if I stopped the energy at that point or whether it should have sort of gone out. I'm not quite sure.
So what ended up happening after that for you?
I did feel like heightened intuition even more after that. Let's just put it this way. He never forgot that. He used to remind me, he said, oh my God, what happened that time? And he used to we're not together.
What, did y'all share the energy or something?
Well, he must have done, because he said, that was amazing. Like, what on earth happened? Like, you were just he said, you were like on another, and he's not into all this stuff like me. He said, you would just really let go, basically. And he never forgot it.
Wow, you little sex kitten, you.
But my head did feel like, my third eye felt like it was going to burst out my forehead, but I feel it did activate something after that. I was never the same again after that.
You were never the same again.
And I don't know if this is linked to it. I still to this day, and I've been having it, proud to give a girl a good all right. I don't know if it happened before then, but I don't remember it then. I often get tingling in my lower back, my butt, and it goes down my legs. And it feels like a sexual energy is and I could be just completely on my own. I could be sat here at the computer working and I'll start to tingle, but it's all in the back. It's not the front. So
when, it's an energy that rises, and when it rises, it causes reactions. Okay. And sometimes it can last for 5 minutes. Sometimes it can last for long times. So the difference between opening up your third eye and a Kundalini experience is that a Kundalini experience can be short term. So you have never been the same because it's altered. It probably was. Sometimes the Kundalini can open up the third eye, and sometimes the third eye can open up the Kundalini. So when that energy rises, basically it's like a level of purification. It's like you reach a point where all your issues, all your problems, nothing seems to matter. It's and so that's why a lot of times people during sex they can have a Kundalini experience, because they just let it all go. They're very present. Like he said that you were so into it, or it was because you were so focused in on that
it was like
your whole subconscious mind just shut down.
Something took over me. That's what he said, but not in a bad way. But I feel it's opened me up sexually more as well. It's definitely changed me, and I feel it also did open my third eye more. I was a lot more in tune to things. Maybe at times it felt a little bit too intense.
Mm-hmm.
And still to this day, I have like tonight, you know, I'm not going to go into this, but I was getting earache, I was getting a headache, and I just have learned to know that this, I'm receiving, it's like a pressure in my ear. It's like I'm receiving something. I've never been the same since then, but luckily it wasn't like one of those episodes where somebody feels like they're losing it, because I know that can happen.
Yeah,
you know,
that's kind of what, well, that's because it's extended. Like for me, my Kundalini rising was like for 3 years.
Wow.
And, I mean, like 3 years. And so when you're at that level, it's like being on acid for 3 years. And I mean, it's because when that happens, you start opening everything. You open your third eye, you open your crown chakra, and everything's like wide open.
Yeah.
Not just slightly, not like tilted, not like cracking, you know, I mean, it's like, because the energy is just constantly flowing. So it's keeping everything open. So you start seeing things, you start hearing things, you start feeling things. I mean, you everything in your world is totally different. It's like you're opened up to other dimensions. And
did you feel hypersensitive? Like, did you feel like you could feel everything?
Absolutely. I knew everything about everybody. And I mean, that was, and I had to, during this time, it was, I actually became a vegan. It was like, I didn't want meat anymore. And, I mean, I was like straight up, like strict about everything. I mean, it was really weird. I mean, like I quit having sex, because I went celibate, and I did that. Yeah. The master that I was training under, he kept on asking me why I was doing that. And so he's like, I don't understand. Why are you celibate again? And I felt that I didn't want the distraction because I was so empathic during this time. I mean, I'm very empathic. Okay. So during this time, I was so empathic that it was, you know, focusing was difficult. And so I had to, I felt that I didn't want the, what do you call it? I didn't want the energy from other people.
Yeah.
Because that kind of intensity. I needed, I
can still feel at times like, he contacted me, this guy, we split up just after my father passed away, so 2.5 years ago. And he will come into my head, and then I'll find a message from him. You know, there's still that, there was this very strong, this is the difficult part, can be this very strong connection after, especially if it's happened during a sexual experience. So you have to be really careful, because if you don't want to have that telepath, or you picking up on them all the time, if it's great, if it's somebody you want to stay with and be with, and you've got a great, you know, relationship. But if it's
not necessarily, because, you know, I mean, honestly, I have moments of being telepathic, and it kind of comes in and out for me. And when it's like Shane and I, we like say something at the same time. Okay, that's cool. Oh, we're so connected. You know, but other times, like, I don't want to think something, because I know he's gonna, like, something will pop up in my head, and I'll go, oh, don't think about that, because he'll read it. And because he's very like seriously, I can say something, and I can think something, and then he'll come out and start talking about it. And so I have to tell myself, you know, don't think about that, because I don't want him to go there, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I have that, so it's separate, but I have that connection with my son. I can just read his mind, or I just know he's about, I think stuff, he's going to tell me such in a minute, and he walks in the room and tells me it.
Exactly. So the thing is that, like with me, when I had that whole Kundalini thing, typically they say that you don't want to do it without being under supervision of a master, because it can make you go crazy. And I mean, doing it for a short period of time, like during sex, or a little bit of, you know, a shorter period and everything, and kind of opening it up for a little while and getting a little window, that's good, I guess. But doing it at the extended time like I did, I mean, honestly, if I didn't have that master, I would have probably lost my mind, because you just kind of, you're entering into another world, and other people are going to think you're nuts. You know?
So did you purposely have yours activated then, or did it just happen?
He kind of activated.
Oh, so he activated it. Yeah. Okay. That's why I was asking, like, you know, I felt that obviously yours was, it was something that he maybe did, or like was
so,
more.
Like, imagine this, and then this is where it gets kind of crazy. And this is, you know, what you see these shows on TV where somebody like goes like this and they hit them on the forehead and then they like travel into another dimension. That's kind of how it was for me. It was like, there was a set time, like we used to do some really bizarre things, but like there was a set time that I would go and meditate. And when I meditate, he would literally like meet me in the meditation, but we were like meeting each other in the astral plane. And I would be meditating, and I guess I was sort of like in the plane or right before the plane or something like that. And I'd feel him go like this on my shoulder. And then it was literally like, you know,
Whoa.
And I was somewhere else. And it was as real as I am experiencing right now, to the point to where at the time I didn't understand what astral projection was. So I thought that he was literally, I know this is going to sound nuts, but I thought he was like teleporting in my room. And
did you feel his presence?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I could feel him touch my arm, like tap me on the arm and go, "You ready?" And
interesting.
I know. But at the time I didn't understand that. There was a lot of things I didn't understand, and I was very impatient. And he used to say that, you just don't understand. I explained this to you, but you just don't understand the language. And I'm like, well, try to talk to me in like kindergarten language or something. It took me years after after this whole experience, I was just like, oh my God, my mind was so blown away. I felt like I was traveling down a rabbit hole all the time, that when it was all over and everything calmed down and it all stopped, you know, I was like, what just happened? Did I enter into another dimension and then step back in? I mean, my mind started going everywhere. Like, what just happened to me? Did I get taken somewhere, you know, for a while and then drop back in time? Like, it was so bizarre for me and so strange, because the things that would happen, like I had to go through a purification, and that this purification was a very, very bizarre experience. So it was like, I felt like he said, hold on and don't get scared. And I said, okay. And all of a sudden I felt like somebody was filling me up with water. Now, I know that sounds strange, but this water started coming up. And as it started getting up close to my throat, I started to panic. And he's like, don't get scared. I told you not to get scared. Now jump, like that. And I went, and all of a sudden I found myself like diving into the ocean. And then he said, now come back. And I felt like I popped out of the water at the top. And when I did that, I sat up in my bed and went, ah! Like that. And like water just came out of my mouth, and I experienced an orgasm. I know that sounds really weird.
Actual water came out your mouth?
Yeah, not literally, but.
Oh, you felt like as if water was.
Okay, let me re-explain this. I was in another dimension.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And it felt real. So it's kind of like a dream, I guess.
Yeah, I get you now, yeah.
And so when my physical body sat up, my body was still sat up out of the bed, like this body now in this dimension, but my mind was still in another plane. So that plane, all that water that had come up came out of me.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And then when that happened, I went, ah, like that. And then I had an orgasm. And then he kind of jumped out in front of me and said, ta-ta, like that.
I mean, Rose 77 has said, never been the same since my third eye opened. All my senses increased, more connection with entities, spirits, hearing things going on with people, etc. Mine didn't happen during sex.
Okay, so third eye, and so here we are, kind of going back again. Third eye opening and Kundalini is slightly.
So that was probably not Kundalini then, or was it?
Yeah, Kundalini. You feel that energy running up your spine and
yeah,
your head, and so like you feel this, and you're tingling like sensation all over your body, and so, and then if it's extended for a long period of time, you start hallucinating, basically. Or not really hallucinating, but you sort of
see
things. If you see things and experience things that nobody else is experiencing. That's why it's really good to work with a master if you're going to extend it for any period of time. Now, a third eye opening is like what she's talking about. That's like when you open your third eye, you become empathic, telepathic, kinetic.
Because your ears, it's all connected.
Yeah, you're able to see the future. You're able to sense people. You're able to talk to spirits. You're able to feel spirits. You get downloads. A lot of things happen when you open up your third eye. A lot of times, like when your third eye is open, you can like read energy or feel energy or sense energy. Like people that are energy readers can be really good healers. So the two things that kind of stuck with me was I'm empathic. So, and I'm a real strong empath. So literally I can step into somebody and feel their emotions and their life experience. Like I'm just like, and I'm like them for a second and feeling them. So like when you were telling me about that situation that happened with that person that you were telling me about, Trish, I literally like stepped into that person and I just read them, and I read them like,
yeah.
That's why, like, when I told you all the stuff about them, you said, yeah, that's true. And so I'm not reading their future. I'm reading their energy.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm an energy reader. So I'm also an energy healer as well. So when I have somebody like on a table, I'll feel their energy and I'll literally close my eyes and let my hands just kind of move and stuff. And I'll feel like what is good, because I can get a sense of something. I may not know the exact interpretation of it, but I like with energy that's broken or has holes in it, or if there's something wrong with like your meridian fields or something like that, I can sense all that. And then I can work on healing those fields. So like when you open up your third eye, you open yourself up to the abilities to be able to do these things. Now, to be able to master them, you have to practice them.
Yeah.
And I know that personally because I got into the practice of doing healing for a while, and because I really got into this whole like hypnosis thing for a long time and kind of got out of the practice of it. And I started wondering, did I lose it? I was like,
it's like a muscle. I feel the more you do use it and you practice and do.
But I started getting back into the practice because
get stronger again.
Yeah, and it started getting really strong. And so like right now it's like real strong. So I discovered that I just need to make sure that I'm practicing it regularly.
And I feel the energies at the moment, especially now in August, because we've got these eclipses, full moons, we've got so much coming up, particularly in August. I feel we're going to feel things a lot more intensified as well. This is and I'm not the only one to say this. People are feeling it already. Even people that are not particularly, haven't worked on opening their third eye, or, I'm hearing guys talking more and more about seeing synchronicities, the numbers, and it's like blowing their mind a bit. So like this stuff's like all lining up. But
that's kind of a forced third eye kind of thing happening. That's happening right now. And we don't, a lot of people are not really having many choices. It's just like, I have people coming in, they're like, oh my God, all of a sudden I was able to talk to spirits, and I could read people's minds, and I could, sense this, and what's wrong with me? I'm going crazy, and it's kind of that energy I told you that we were talking about last week, that we're shifting into a 6-dimensional world, and we're skipping over 4th and 5th. We're just going straight over, and because that is happening, there's a little bit of buffers that are out there to kind of help with the resistance a little bit, but it's still impacting people, and it's making people more powerful and more stronger. I'll tell you a funny story that happened to me today. So one of the things that I teach, I believe everybody can do this. Okay. Yeah. So I teach manifesting, and so basically first thing I have to do is I have to do clearing on them. So we have to like get all that crap out of their heads, because you can't manifest if you have negative thoughts. Mm. So we do that. And then I start teaching them about energy, and then we go into manifesting. So anyway, so I have this client, and this is all new to her. So she's all like, wasn't expecting this. She just wanted to come and get hypnotized. Next thing you know, she's like profoundly magic, Anyway, so she's like, I'm just overwhelmed right now. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? She's like, I just need to focus. Can we just do a session? Maybe some hypnosis on you, just like helping me relax. And I go, what is going on? And she's like, okay, all this manifesting, it's coming true. It's like happening, and it's kind of freaking me out. And I said, oh, why? Because you find out your magic? And she's like, yes. And I go, wow, that's pretty cool. And she goes, it is the coolest thing ever, but it's like, this can't be happening. This can't be real. Oh my God, it is real. Oh my God, it's happening. And she just is real. It was just really cute. I thought, I've had several people like do that, but it's because the energy is getting stronger. So, I mean, why not use it? So I'm teaching everybody. I had very select students that I worked with. Like I would pick 1 to 3 a year that I would work with, because it was very intense for the student. Okay. Because it was an intense relationship. And now it's like almost all of my clients are students, because so many people come to me and they're experiencing these things, or they just start transforming right in front of me. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I have to help them. I think, yeah. I mean, hypnosis will open up your third eye. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of a key right there, because I told you last week about the guy who said that he came in because I was supposed to be helping him with his dick. Yeah. He had ED, erectile dysfunction. Yeah. He's funny. That's he's like, I'm sorry, I'm just speak like this. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. And next thing you know, he's like getting into all the spiritual stuff. And he's really like getting into really deep meditation, and, and it's interesting, because what's happening is that the hypnosis has opened that up, and meditation will do the same thing.
Yeah, I was going to say meditation helps with your third eye. I get tired after third eye work and need a nap.
So do I.
You never know with him, like what he's a bit of a jokester.
I do too. I get tired when I do work on myself. I don't get tired when I do work on other people, though. And people always ask me that. And it's an interesting thing, because I actually get energized when I work on people. Mm. And it's the actual opposite. And so like when I work on myself, it's harder, because, I got the side of your brain that wants to, do its, shake its nasty little head, that you've got to come in and go, go shut up, go take a nap. Yeah. I need to get into the deeper areas,
I've been finding the last few days, and I've heard a lot of people saying this about, like, normally I can't sleep, and now I'm getting this. I was like, I'm not tired, but I feel drained. But then I realized, no, I'm actually relaxed, where my body just wants to go to sleep. And I'm so used to being awake, maybe not wired, that's probably the wrong word, but awake so much. And then I've been feeling these waves of like intense, and I've realized it's relaxation where I just naturally want to go to sleep. And I've not been used to that because I've been we had some Gemini eclipses a few years ago, and I never slept properly after that. I mean, I sort of
what do you contribute that to?
What, now or before?
Right now.
I'm not sure. I've been trying to work it out. This because I thought, oh, I'm just drained, and then I was like, no, actually, what came back to me was, no, you're relaxed. So it feels like you're drained because it feels unusual, because I was always so like, it's not wired and it's not hyper, but just couldn't relax, you know, just like
very yeah, it's like
I felt more intense, this inner relaxation, but it was so strange to me. I felt like I thought it was I'm being drained, but I wasn't. I was just felt relaxed, and I wasn't used to it.
That's what a lot of people say when they experience that. They're like, I don't know what to do with this, you know.
Well, I have a lot of air in, you know, when you go astrology, I have a lot of air in my chart, and we have trouble. I know you can't put everybody in the box, but I have trouble switching off from the mind with all this Gemini energy. But yeah, maybe something I'm doing, I'm not sure what it is I'm getting these waves of like relaxation, but I've been trying to fight it, thinking it's like,
well, that's actually really good, because I'm getting intensity waves, and yeah, like to the point where, and I think maybe we've talked about this before, but I'm not sure. So, you know, like I told you, you've got two sides that are happening. You've got the energy that's being projected into this world that is higher level energy that we're kind of moving into. Okay. So you've got that happening. So you've got all these people that are awakening, opening third eye, and so like we said, the good are getting better. And then you've got this other people that can't deal with that energy, and they're repelling it, and it's making them angrier. And so they're getting worse. And so that energy, it really pushes a lot, and it's like I have some magnets here. So like when you so here we go. So like when you try to push the magnets together, they really push against each other, and it's that force.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I feel. Like that's what it feels like to me, is that I'm getting this pushback.
Resistance.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like you know, so because I'm an energy reader, I interpret everything based on what I'm feeling. And so sometimes you feel things that you don't really understand, you know, I mean, like it's here, you know, and so like with me, it's like, that's what it feels like. I feel like there's this energy that's like, my energy is pushing it. Like I'm, you know, and I'm not doing it like consciously. It's just the expansion of my energy and the way that I am.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It was something else, when actually it was just like this feeling of peace and relaxation. And Michelle LeBlanc's just said, Trisha, maybe some positive energy being sent your way. And it was this feeling of like somebody, like feeling at home and just relaxed in my body. She has a point. That could be something linked to it. I just felt this something like, in my life
you're getting so that, and that's good. And I'm really, really happy, because you need that right now. And I think that having somebody send you you're probably getting a lot of people that send you a lot of love, you know, because you're an awesome person. And I know I send you, you know, and so that's probably what's happening. So I need some people to send me some love. Because I feel like there's this energy resistance that's going on. Like it's like a field, like my energy's pushing against. Like you understand?
Yeah, but I feel there is, like you say, there's this, and other people have said on my channel, they've felt this divide where people are going higher, it's getting, you know, and the people that are struggling are staying down here, and the gap's getting bigger and bigger.
Right, exactly.
Quite a lot of people are talking about that.
Energy field doesn't connect like it used to, because I think I guess what I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to figure this out here, but most of my life, I've always been able to sit in the presence of darkness. Okay. And then I would start shining. And as I would slightly glow, they would glow with me. And then I would expand a little more and they would expand with me. And eventually they'd become light. Do you see what I'm saying?
Do you find that there's some people that will never?
Some people just completely repel against it, like the light's just too much, they just can't handle it and they go away. But it's like sitting in my energy is just too much, they just can't do it. I find that lately stepping into that space where I'm able to just kind of move into that place, it feels like their energy is so dark that it's almost like they're pushing against it, like they're fighting against it and trying really hard to step in, but their energy is repelling too hard.
Yeah.
They just can't, there's not enough mixture anymore.
Yeah.
To be able to sit there. It's just interesting. That's just kind of what I've experienced, is that it just feels like an energy pushback or a magnetic field that I'm coming up against. I don't know. Maybe I'm describing it wrong. I'm just feeling this really strong magnetic field. And
maybe that's how you're experiencing it. You know, we're all different how maybe experiencing it. Like Michelle's also put, she says, positive energy is on its way to you, Michelle.
Thank you.
She also says, when she tries to meditate, she sees colours. Any idea why? Thank you.
Oh, that brings up the conversation we were having earlier that we bring up. Yes.
Like the colors and the eye.
And the eyes. Yeah. So colors, definitely. So what you're doing is you're opening your third eye. And when your third eye is completely open, then you can actually see like images as clear as you can with your eyes open. So it's almost like a lucid dream kind of.
Like the example I gave you earlier, in my early days, I used to literally see an eye, like, so I had my eyes closed. I see a big eye, like, blinking. I was like, what the hell is going on?
That's happened to me before, too. And
it was clear as day, this eye. I had to keep my eyes shut.
Did you see, like, all the color inflections inside the eye?
I could see the eyelashes, not necessarily, I can't remember about seeing that, but literally could see eyelashes. It was like this big eye blinking. Not necessarily saw like the intensity like that, but like my third eye would just go purple or green or blue. In fact, when I was having my hair the other day done, I closed my eyes and my third eye was just going blue.
Wow.
Not dark blue, not light blue, but sort of an in-between, like an indigo blue, I'd say. And yeah, I was like, oh, it's not often when I'm having my hair done that my third eye fills with colour, because I just sat there with my eyes shut for a few seconds.
So who was the person that asked about the colour? What's her name?
Michelle LeBlanc, her name is. Okay. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correct.
Okay, so Michelle, if you meditate longer and you stay with that, you'll start noticing, just pay attention to the colours. Like a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just kind of treat it like a game and I'll go blue. And I'll start, okay, what else can I see that's blue? And I might see a scenery, but it's real like vague, almost like a shadowy kind of scenery. And then suddenly I'll go, where's green? Can I see green? And then suddenly green will pop up. And then I see grass. And then I'll start seeing trees, because in that image, those things exist. And next thing I know, I see somebody's red shoes. And the images just start, you just kind of like look like you're really digging, like you're doing the puzzle Where's Waldo or something. Just really pay attention and really seek it out. and you'll end up discovering that you've kind of entered into kind of like a lucid state, and all these colors become very vibrant, and it's like, whoa, almost like you're in a virtual reality game kind of.
Another example I can give is my son often, he's always had sore feet. Like, I love having my feet massaged. I could have it done every day. But sometimes he'll say, he gets very cold feet. Now, I don't know if it's to do with his heart or it's something else, but he gets very cold feet. So not so much now, but when he was younger, I used to just hold his feet, just cup my hands in his feet. And I used to get him to close his eyes and tell me if he's seeing a colour. And one day we both saw my third eye filled with green, and so did his. And one day we both saw a tiger in our third eye. That was trippy, but in a good way.
Hey, you guys, y'all need to settle down.
So that was like really intense green. So I guess that's healing, maybe. That's why we're seeing the green. And he's a tiger in Chinese astrology. We both saw a tiger.
Hold on 1 second. Chelsea,
okay.
Chelsea, settle down.
Hi, Deborah. Deborah Tuck has just joined us.
You want to come say hi?
So Michelle says she has a fear of opening her third eye.
Why?
I wouldn't say it's anything to be fearful, and just do it gently. If you're scared of it being like a rapid thing, just go gently with it. I would recommend.
So why? But why is she afraid of it?
I don't know. Maybe she'll comment. Do you mind us asking why you're afraid, Michelle? And just while waiting for her to comment, Rose has put, mine opened before I knew what was happening. It took me 2 years of research to figure out what happened to me. Do you know what triggered mine, I think, was I had some Reiki done on me. Mm-hmm. And one day after Reiki, it was rainbows in my third eye. That was the best experience. Meditation and Reiki. Mm-hmm. But I don't do Reiki. I had it done to me. They're the times it's really brought the colours in. So, but yeah, I got some puppy love.
She's wanting some.
I love dogs.
Okay, get down. Get down. Get down. Why were you barking so much? Huh? Do you want to say hi too? You want to come up here and say hi? All right, Chelsea, sit down. Come here.
I love it when the animals get involved. Masca's outside, so she won't join in. Oh, look at him. I want to get involved.
Look, you're a star. Look.
You're a YouTube sensation. Chief?
Yes. His name is Chief. Oh, and now she's coming too. Everybody wants to be part of the show. All right, you guys get down. Go on. Go on.
Oh, people make shows of their dogs on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. I video them all the time and put them on Facebook. I can't stop video cameraing them because I love them so much.
I'm the same with the cat. I'm always taking pictures of her and videos. It's like my phone just filled. It's like, and I send pictures to my, I call her my sister, but she's not my real sister. She doesn't even have cats. And I said, you probably think I'm nuts. I keep sending you our cat, but she doesn't mind. She's fine with it. She doesn't even have cats.
I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. And
she doesn't even have cats, and I'm bombarding her with cat pictures.
That's funny. So did Michelle respond about?
Yeah, she did. So she says, I tend to be empathic and have dreams, visions before someone's death. So that's why it's scaring her.
Oh, well, it sounds to me like her third eye is probably already open, but not all the way. And you don't have to have your, you don't have to have your third eye open all the way, and you can kind of like, the best thing is when it's bothering you, just center yourself and come back to self. Okay. So empathics have a problem. It's a big problem. They expand their energy. They're like octopuses. Okay. And their energy reaches out and dives into somebody like this. It's like, think of an empath is like a person who has a ton of tentacles. Okay. And so this one goes over here and it just lands inside of somebody, and this one goes over here and it lands inside of somebody, and then all of a sudden you're just getting all this information coming to you. You don't know where it's coming from. You walk into a room, a whole bunch of people in the room, and you get sadness, anger, excitement, joy, hate, like all over the place. Okay. So As an empath, you need to learn how to center your energy and bring it in. Okay. So if you're finding that you're having all these dreams like this, it's because your energy is too expanded into these people. Okay. Mm-hmm. Bring your energy in, center it, practice yoga, because yoga will bring that energy in, and just like, you know, or like some kind of martial arts like Tai Chi or something, where you learn how to really get that energy and bring it in. And what you can do is, if you just kind of close your eyes and just imagine your energy filled like this, and just kind of close your eyes and just take it and move it very slowly, like feel the energy on your hands. You can kind of feel them like tingling a little bit, and just kind of move it in like that. And do that several times. Like, and you can do it all over your body, you know, like that, and just bring it all in, and then kind of take it and just kind of go down like this and center it.
I keep getting the urge to start yoga again, actually. I've not done it for a long time. I used to go to classes and things. I'm feeling drawn to start doing it again.
That energy, man. I told you I was a vegan, and then I was a vegetarian.
Because I'm already a vegetarian, you know, not quite vegan, but I've been vegetarian for years.
And then I started eating meat again, and I did it because I was struggling. I was trying to do like weightlifting and stuff, and I was trying to build more muscle, and I couldn't. And I felt like, okay, I need to do this. And so it was difficult, because I had to tell myself I need to get over this, you know? And so like lately, it seems like over the last month or so, maybe I just don't, the desire of meat is really kind of bleh. Like, it's kind of
my vegetarianism is rubbing off on you.
It's you. It's your energy. You're shooting that vegetarian energy. Yeah. That's
Deborah Tucker said using essential oils is what opened her third eye.
Okay, so I believe that.
Because she does etheric essentials by Deborah Tucker.
Okay, so when I am teaching somebody how to meditate, I activate all the senses. So I usually light incense. I will take a little bit of essential oil and tap it on their forehead, on their, you know, hands, you know, a little bit on their chest. I'll put it on the different chakras. I'm not going to touch their belly or anything like that, but I'll just kind of put it on the upper chakras. And then we light a candle, I'll light some incense, and then I usually play like some kind of like binaural beats or something in the background. And just the combination of that can really like center a person's energy and bring them in. And so like I can see how using the oils can actually open up your third eye. Absolutely. Because it what happens is when you, for instance, like if you just put a little bit of oil here or here, you can smell it so intensely that it creates like almost like a tunnel vision. Like you're able to center, and you're able to get into a singularity state where you can just think about your breathing. And it creates a line of focus, I think.
Yeah. So Rose 77 said, I've always wondered what caused it, met her twin flame, and it started twitching with eye contact, was doing self-improving, started meditating, yoga, did inner work, and then it fully opened. Also, she's talking about her third eye. And then Michelle said, thank you. Can't believe you said yoga. I've been drawn to trying it. Thank you so much, Michelle. You described me perfectly.
Awesome. Awesome. So, okay, wait, go back to what the guy said. He said.
Rose 77, you mean?
I don't know. I thought you said there was a guy, Barry something.
Barry?
I thought you said Barry 77 or something like that. Maybe I'm missing.
Rose 77, rose, like a flower.
Okay.
She said, have always wondered what caused it. I think she's talking about her third eye. Met her twin flame, and it started twitching with eye contact.
Okay.
Was doing self-improvement, started meditating.
That's interesting how she started twitching when she met her twin flame. Wow. Now, her name is Rose, right?
Rose 77, yeah.
Rose, do you think that it's your twin flame, or do you think it's your soulmate? Because there is a difference. And just whenever you get a chance to answer that.
Yeah.
And what made you decide that it was a twin flame?
Because I'm still on the fence about this. It's not that I don't believe in twin flames, but I'm like, how do we really know? She thinks it's a twin flame.
Okay.
So, how do we really know? Like, are they a twin flame?
Okay, so I'm gonna.
I've studied this so much. I'm still like,
twin flames. You have to be ready for your twin flame. Okay. You can't just wish for it, because if you do, it's going to be a toxic relationship. Your twin flame is going to be an absolute opposite of you, and so there's going to be it'll be so much spark and so much energy and so much passion, and it can be extremely toxic. So
don't they say it's a mirror image of each other though?
It's the mirror, but it's the opposite. So if you notice, like, see how, like, I'm in the mirror here and you can see the mole here, but when you look at me in person, like on here, it looks like it's on that side.
The other side, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the other side. So it's like, so it's going to be the opposite. So it's
yeah, I get what you mean now.
Yourself. Okay. So you've got to, so when that happens, it can create a lot of toxicity or a lot of fighting, or it can be the most powerful experience and the most beautiful inner experiences you've ever had. Because when you meet your twin flame, that you've got to be ready, you know, I mean, that means spiritually evolved, because you can't go into the fact that this person is going to be different. They're going to have different opinions, different thoughts. Everything's going to be the opposite of you. And so you've got to be ready for that. And the point when the two twin flames come together, when they are ready to come together, that means that you've spiritually evolved enough to where you can become whole. Like, you're not going to judge that other person. You're going to accept them for the person that they are.
Yeah.
And so,
so yeah. I was just going to add, she said it brought so much growth. I didn't know what a twin flame was when it happened, wasn't looking. And then she had started doing a lot of self-improvement before she met him. So she was doing the inner work. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, because I did like start getting into this whole twin flame thing. I was like, I want to manifest my twin flame, because you can get very easily drawn into this. Oh, I want my twin flame. And then I've sort of, if it happens, it happens, but I'm not like, oh, I want my twin flame now. Like, I'm just focusing on me and working on me. But I got very much caught up in that initially when I first heard about twin flames. And I think a lot of people do.
And sometimes your twin flame can be the same sex, and sometimes your twin flame can be a relative. Like,
don't you think they're just sexual partners then? They can be.
Yeah, they can be. So like, for instance, you know, Heidi and
Jenny,
yeah. She both, I think they've kind of like said that they're twin flames, that they believe that they're twin flames.
Right.
So, and I guess it really just depends on your interpretation, because a lot of times people believe that twin flames are soulmates. Soulmates are different. Soulmates have a deeper connection, and that it's like an instant love. Like, it's like, I love you. I mean, like, you are my soul. Like, it's like this powerful, like, you are my soul. And that's what a soulmate, and you can have multiple soulmates. Yeah.
So what's the difference in what would be the benefit of having a twin flame, in your opinion?
There is no benefit if you haven't done the work.
So say if you've done the inner work, it's like fully acceptance. It's like you just accept each other.
So, okay, I'll give you an example. My sister is married to her twin flame, and she's done the work and he hasn't. It can be it is kind of a toxic situation. And so and she's tried to help him, but he's just hasn't been ready. So like, she evolved, and part of the reason she evolved so much faster is because of me. So I just got right behind her and started pushing her, you know? And so she got up here and he was down here. And it just, it just, you know, when you haven't been doing the work, and both of you are not doing the work, it can be extremely toxic. I mean, and the problem with the toxicity is because they're a twin flame, you can't get away from them. Like, it's almost like unbreakable. Once you meet, it's like, you know, I mean, literally you rip yourself apart trying to get away from them. You know, it's because that connection is so like beyond the universe, you know, and it's good and it's bad, you know. If you're ready, it's good. If you're ready, it's a great relationship. Okay. And it's a lot of peace. But if you're not ready, because it teaches you a lot, you know. So I believe Shane is my twin flame, and he is my absolute, complete, 100% opposite. But I find joy in his uniqueness and his differences, and I see that he's just this whole different person than me, and I like it, and I just want him to be him because I like him. You know what I mean? And I don't try to make him into being me. He doesn't have to be a guru, meditator, spiritual teacher, go with that path, you know, whatever. He's like, you know, he's Mr. Badass, like, you know, tattoos and, you know, motorcycles and guns and, you know, he's that guy. And he's
because IRX has put a woman wants to change a man ? Well, not necessarily so. A woman that's done the inner work won't want to change you. She'll accept you for who you are.
No, that's like just what I said. If you heard what I was saying, is that I don't want to change him. I don't want to make him different. I don't want him to, he doesn't have to do anything I do. I mean, he will, because he's real open-minded. If I say, hey, there's this meditation class I want to go to, you want to come with, or something like that, you know, which most of the time I don't go to meditation classes. Most of the time I teach them. But there has been things like, hey, I want to do some yoga, come with. And he'll go, okay. But that's because he's done some work. You see what I'm saying? He's willing to step over into my world, and I'm willing to step over into his world. And then we're both able to come back without changing and bounce right back and be completely ourselves without without, you know, I accept him and he accepts me. I bounce over here, he bounces over here. You see what I'm saying? And that is the way that a twin flame needs to behave for you to be. When you're ready for them, you can do that. You can be in a complete acceptance role.
Yeah, you're not trying to control them. You're not trying to change them. Like, and it's obviously, like we say, the man and the woman needs to be doing it. If the woman's doing the inner work, the man isn't, or vice versa, it's going to be, that's often why you see them, they call them runners. One's running because they've not done the inner work.
Well, they won't be able to get away from each other either.
But they come back together because they can't get away from each other.
Yeah, they can't. It's too toxic. And it's once you meet and you've made that sexual connection.
Yeah, I should think that takes it to a whole new level. I don't know if I've met my twin flame yet, if I have one.
Well, of course you have one. But it also doesn't necessarily mean that that this person was incarnated into this life.
True.
And maybe they have, maybe they haven't. But it's not necessarily, like I said, it's not necessarily always the best thing, because your twin flame may not have done the work.
Yeah. So if my twin flame is out there, get doing the inner work.
Get busy, man. Get busy.
Your inner work.
I tell you what, it was really funny because before I met him, I used to meditate on him all the time. And I used to tell him, I love you. I accept you. You're exactly the way you are. You know, I would just sit there and do that the whole time. Like, I would just visualize and see him, and I would always see him hurt. And I'm like, I'm going to heal your heart, you know? And I was like, send this energy to him. And
so this is before you met him. Like, you just imagined, you felt him.
I felt him for a while. Like,
but you didn't know what he looked like. Did you know what he looked like?
I just knew he was going to be bald.
Right. Okay.
And that's about the most that I knew. And that's it. So, but
That's cool.
I felt his energy. And because it's like, it's a warm, oozy kind of soft, fuzzy bear kind of energy. If you can, it's really weird. It's like when you step, he's a very strange person, because when you step outside of his energy, it's almost like he has a shield around him, and you feel almost like a wall that you can't get through, you know, like you think it's one way, but when you step into it, like if I lay my head on his lap, it's like it's hard to even explain. It's like fuzzy bear, warm, cuddly, oozy, gentle, soft, you know, that kind of thing. And it's a weird kind of thing. And I was telling him, I was laying my head on his lap the other day, and I said, now I know why the dogs do this to you all the time. I mean, they just, like, the cats, the dogs, all pile up on him. And I mean, like, you've got two, he's, look at this. And I'm like, what is it? And I go, it's your energy. You know, it's like they all like pile on him, and you know, but he also has like an energy field around him that is the absolute opposite. So like if you don't get close enough, you can't feel it. So you don't know. So it's almost, I guess, maybe like a shield of protection or something.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe that's his protection.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing, but yeah. So I remember before we started dating, and I was really fighting it. Like I was so drawn to him. I mean, it was like so magnetic, and I was like, fight it, you know, because I was just like, you know, I just didn't think that, you know, I just couldn't see how in my mind that it was gonna
work. Had he done any inner work before you met him?
So yes, he actually was going, maybe not on the spiritual level, but he had done something like counseling and stuff like that. And but when I met him, he had some physical problems. Hi, Bubba. He had some physical problems, and so I started helping him with healing and stuff like that. And so I noticed one day my back was hurting, and I was like, can you just rub my lower back? And when he did, I felt like this electricity come out of his hand, and I go, oh God, you need to take a Reiki class. And and so I signed him up for a Reiki class, and from that moment on, it was like something different happened to him.
And he went, did he?
Oh yeah, and
wow.
he could feel energy. And after he got anointed, he felt like really dizzy. One time we went into a crystal store, and he was so lightheaded after he came out that he couldn't even walk. I know, he's very, very sensitive to energy and extremely psychic. Like, it's really weird. Like he'll start telling me something's going to happen, and I'll go, no, like, you know, I'm like, don't go there. Don't say it out loud.
I love it, the fact that he was open to doing like Reiki, and I'm like, for me, like, a guy doesn't have to be completely into what I'm doing, but the fact that he's open to trying something like that, even, like, let alone doing it.
Here's the weird part. Okay. When we were friends and we weren't dating, I was trying to explain to him about what I do. And I was talking to him about energy, and he goes, I don't understand. And I go, how can I freaking have a conversation with you? And I'm like totally yelled at him. You know, I was like, how can I have a conversation with you if you don't understand any of the words that I'm trying to tell you? And so I handed him a book and said, read this. And
I can relate to that.
You know, and so he started reading books. And when he really started getting interested in all of this was when I started talking about sexual alchemy. And, you know how guys are. Sex, you know. So
which is sex. He's interested.
Well, he got really interested, and he was able to relate and understand energy when he was able to relate it to sexual energy. And once he was able to do that, then he really got it. Now he totally understands energy. I mean, gets it, feels it, knows how to interpret it, you know. I mean, he's not fascinated with it like me.
Yeah.
But he knows that he's intuitive, and he knows that, like, you know, I mean, he reads my mind.
How would you explain sexual alchemy to somebody? Is it like sex magic, or is that different?
Yeah, it's sex magic.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
So
okay.
I basically told him, because he had an injury, and he had to have surgery, and he's had like 4 or 5 surgeries and rods and seals in his back and a pain pump and all this crazy stuff. And he was just always in pain. And so I said, all right, we're going to start doing Reiki on you. We're going to start doing yoga, and we're going to start doing sexual alchemy. And so I started teaching him how to do it. And the reason we did it was to heal his back. And so here's what resulted from all of this.
I'm just laughing at the dogs. Sorry.
What? At the dogs?
I'm laughing at the dogs.
Did you see them or just listening to them?
Yeah, I just saw them like photobomb. Like, it's funny.
They're playing, and they're in a playful mood right now. So they're
that's okay.
Yeah. So so basically we started doing that, and that sexual magic and the yoga, and me teaching him how to meditate, but the sexual practices that he had to do, a lot of it was by himself. So there was a lot of energy exercises that he had to do, which didn't require anything to do with his lower vicinity. I mean, it did and it didn't. Like, he would have to stop the flow of pee or something like that. There was a lot of, like, there's a whole bunch of books on it. And so then when he would do that, and I had my own exercises that I did, and then when we came together, we took that energy and we started like using the energy to, so like when we pulled the energy up and we were able to concentrate on it, I moved it into his lower back, and we started doing that. And anyway, so here's long story short, he's back to working, and he is doing really well, and he works out all the time, and he's in really good shape, and he's not disabled anymore.
That's awesome.
So now, granted, he's not a big, huge person that is all into the woo-woo stuff like me, but he understands the meaning and the value of it. And I think the reason that he was so willing to try it is because he had done Western medicine, and he'd gone as far as he could go, and he was still experiencing a lot of pain. So, when you're at that point, you're willing to try anything. He's like, and that's where he was. He was just like, I'm willing to try anything.
Interesting. Yeah. I'd imagine 2 people coming together with the same, what's the word I'm looking for? The sex magic or alchemy, with 2 people coming together, it must be with the same like goal, I'm trying to think of, or purpose. That must be pretty like powerful.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just finding that person that's.
When we would have our ceremonies, I mean, because it wasn't that way every single time, but when we would have our planned out ceremonies that we would do, afterwards he would be like in this daze, like, oh my God, and that's, he'd want to sit there and talk about it for an hour. It's crazy, and it was unbelievable to him. It's like the client that was experiencing magic, it was unbelievable to him that he could go so long, like hours. And to him, it was just like, that seems physically impossible, yet this is what happened. But, when you're practicing that particular thing, it is easier to do. So it's a great tool to use if you're trying to heal yourself or your body, or raise your kundalini, or open your third eye. And honestly, I think with all that, that's what happened with him. It just kind of pushed him into a different mindset. and a different.
Do you use it for manifesting things? Like, because some people use it for that, don't they?
So you can use sexual alchemy as a single practitioner.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a little, I'll try not to get too
sexual.
But if you're a female, when it comes time to doing the big O, you, instead of like, oh, and you're just literally like, ah, you're pushing it out, right?
Sorry.
Next talk with Michelle and Trish. Oh my God. Anyways.
I've been wanting to set up a podcast. That would be a great podcast. Sex talk. Sorry.
I'm going to change the channel to sex talk. Anyways. So, seems to be the topic of this whole conversation. First, you and your Kundalini sex rising. Anyway, so so when a girl is doing that, then she's letting it go this way. Mm-hmm. What you want to do is you want to focus in on the inside of your crown chakra, like on the pineal gland, and kind of get into your third eye and start to imagine what it is that you want, and then hold the image. Okay. And
in that moment.
Yeah. Start like when you're getting close, just start seeing them. It's really holding that image. Okay. And then instead of exhaling, inhale, like as it's happening, go and take it, and then take it in and bring it up all the way, and then hold it right here.
I think I've been doing it slightly wrong. That's probably why it's not worked.
That's why it's not working. Yeah, you take it. They call it the elixir, and
yeah, I mean, I've been like imagining whatever it is, but I think I need to tweak it a little bit.
Well, if you're using sexual magic, it's slightly different than manifest. So,
yeah, I mean the sexual magic. I'm imagining it in my third eye, but breathing in instead of out, like taking it in.
So, like one of the things, the practices that you do is to try to really activate the energy. You're like, and you're squeezing the lower muscles at the same time. So it's real short, quick breaths, like, until you run out, until you don't have any more breath, and you're holding the muscle the whole time, and then you exhale and you start it again. And so what you're doing is you're bringing that energy up, like, so you're causing that energy to rise. Okay. And so like so it's creating like that. So when it happens, you're like, you exhale real fast and then just take in a really deep breath and just move it all the way up.
That's the bit where I've been going wrong. I've been doing it the opposite way around.
It's a little challenging. I mean, it takes some practice.
Yeah, practice.
I mean, people always want to go, oh, I want to learn sexual magic. And it's like, it's not easy. And for a guy, it's a whole different thing. Like guys are not supposed to have an orgasm. I mean, no, wait, hold on. They can have an orgasm, but they can't release sperm. So they can't come.
Wow.
So they've got to learn how to practice. Like as soon as they feel like it's going to happen, they got to squeeze it really tight and hold it. Like,
wow. I wonder what that,
keep it.
Not that I'll ever know, but I wonder what that feels like for a guy that.
Apparently I'm not a guy, but apparently it's pretty bizarre. It feels really good, supposedly.
I wonder if our ex has ever, because he's usually pretty open about this sort of thing. I wonder if he's ever.
Yeah, when a guy actually have multiple orgasms during sex this way, and that's why you're able to last longer.
He says a true master never blows.
Exactly, because so a man loses life energy when he has an orgasm, and a woman gains life energy when she has one. So you guys, you want to make her come as many times as you can so that she'll live a long time.
It does. I've got this book. This was not planned to go on this whole sort, but she's called Dr. Andrea Pennington. I don't know if you've heard of her. And she wrote the orgasm prescription for women, and she recommends a minimum of 3 a week.
Oh, wow.
For optimal health, hormone balance, skin, like you look younger, you feel younger, for your hormones. It's a whole science behind it. And you know what? I had it on audiobook. And I was just like, yeah, this makes, it makes your skin look younger. It's just really healthy for you. So for women that never do, yeah.
That's interesting. Huh.
I think it lowers your blood pressure as well.
So send that information to me. And,
yeah.
And I'll, and for anybody who's interested, I can put a link in the.
She's on Facebook as well. Actually, she would be a really good guest to get on. Actually.
Oh, yeah.
If it's, I ought to reach out to her, because they can say yes or no. What's this? You'll freak a girl out and hurt her feelings. I don't know what he means by that. Oh, like if you hold it, if you orgasm but you hold it in, I think that's what he means. You'll freak a girl out and hurt her feelings.
Okay, well, you gotta like basically stop worrying about hurting people's feelings, and you gotta do what's best for you emotionally, spiritually, magically, whatever it is that you practice. And if you're wanting to, and a lot of times you'd be surprised if you like,
maybe if you explain why.
There's a book out there called the Orgasmic Man or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like something to do. Basically, it teaches the same thing, but it's not sex magic, but it's talking about how you can have multiple orgasms. And
sounds like Tantra.
I don't remember.
That teaches you to.
Yeah, it teaches you how to do it. And, if you're really concerned about it, hand her the book so she understands what's going on.
I think he's single, but it's like.
Let me see if I can find it.
But I think, if I'm honest, when I was younger, I think if a guy explained to me what was happening, I wouldn't be offended.
Mm-hmm, I agree with that.
You can see how many women would think like, well, there's something wrong then, or there's something wrong with me, because it's not the normal thing happening. So I think the best thing, if you were going to do something like that, is just explain it to them what's happening, and then they won't feel hurt. Unless he's joking. You never know with him whether he's joking or not.
Yeah, so the name of the book is called The Multiple Orgasmic Man. I just looked it up. And it is it's by the same guy. It's by the same guy that does the sex magic. Okay.
What's his name?
His name is I don't even know how to say it. It's Mantak Chai.
Oh, never heard of it.
Mantak Chai. And he writes, let me see.
No, Eric, I've never dated women, so I don't know. But I am a woman, so I know what it's like to be a woman.
That's funny. That's really funny. Hey, you know what? I'm a woman too, and I know what women think and what women want and what they feel. And
he's put Mantak Chaya or Chai.
Yeah, exactly.
MANTIC and then CHIA.
CHIA.
Probably knows about this person already.
There it is. Okay, so he's written a lot of books. The Awakening of the Healing Energy through the Tao. And then Tao Secrets of Love, Cultivating Male Sexual Energy. And there's one for women too. Awakening Healing Energy through the Tao. There's he's got a bunch of them, and he's got tons of books. And then there's one for women as well. And so anyways, there's all of his stuff. He has YouTube videos too. So you can always kind of look him up. It's MANTACKCHIA, and it's 2 words.
All right.
Okay. So anyways, for anybody who's interested in learning sexual alchemy, there you go. Voila. Anyways, yeah, it is very, very, very cool if you like it. So yeah, here we go again. We're at an hour and a half.
Wow, that's gone fast.
No, I know. It does. It feels like it's been 30 minutes. I mean,
yeah.
Holy cow. So you want to wrap it up at that, or do you have anything?
Yeah, I was just going to say, has anybody got any questions before we go? He's put psychic tantra chicks are super rare. Bless him. So has anybody got any questions before we go? Before we go and practice our magic.
Before Trisha goes into her bedroom and does her little magical act.
Before I go and do my magic. I might be kidding, I might not. Oh dear.
You know that we would get a literal spanking from Jeff if we were talking like this on his channel.
Well,
he's so I can't.
Has he not been a bit more open, or am I not on this subject?
He gives me such a hard time because I always I always end up saying something I shouldn't say.
Okay.
And because I have no secrets, no nothing. I mean, everything's like, I mean, I just don't hold back. What you see is what you get,
He'd probably be secretly smiling if he was watching though.
Yeah. So he's gotten on to me a couple of times, like, watch your language, because I'm like, what the hell,
Yeah.
I've thrown out the F-bomb. I've said the L word. I've said shit. I've said crap, all on his show. And he's like, one time. And I was like, I'm sorry. So, and now he says, he's started saying at the beginning of his show, he says, I've been informed that there's children watching the show, so we're going to try to keep it clean. No cussing. I mean, so it's like he's given this little preamp now to all his people that are on his show now. That's funny.
But you can, if something was really X-rated, you can put the restriction to 21 years old, but then and over.
But can you do that when it's live?
No, but you can change a restriction after. We did that once because we did a Valentine's special with the sex tarot. They were rather sort of risque, so we decided to put it as 21 and above just in case.
Okay.
Because you'd think it was 18 and above, but it's 21 for some reason. So
there's no more questions.
No. So Michelle's put, thank you so much for your knowledge, positive energy to both. Rose says that was very informative, thank you. And Irex says this is not dirty. No, this is pretty tame, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's just that we're supposed to be having spiritual talk, and we have talked about sex. Oh, well, but it was all based on spiritual knowledge. But here's the thing. I'll tell you a funny story real quick before I end. The spiritual master, one day he told me this story about something that happened. He was very sexual because he's Taoist. Okay. And so he said, one of his clients came in and said, so I believe spiritualism is like this and like that. And she goes, what do you think is spiritual? And he goes, well, take off your clothes and I'll show you.
Wow.
That's funny. I know, it was really funny. I laughed, but I'm sure she didn't.
I was going to say, what was her reaction?
Yeah. So I thought it was funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. So it's but the thing is that in reality, sexual energy is the most powerful energy that you can pull. So if you want to ever manifest something in your life, whether it's healing or whether it's a new house or whatever, if you learn how to use sexual energy, that is the most powerful thing you can do.
Yeah, I need to practice because So, but it is, yeah.
Okay, so I guess we're done.
And next week we'll be back on my channel because we're going to alternate it every week, aren't we?
Yes, ma'am. All right, so goodbye, everybody, and y'all have a fabulous day. And before we end this, how do I keep you on without
cutting me off like I cut you off? So at the top where it says you're live on YouTube, there's a little arrow.
Oh, on the Zoom thing or on the...
Yeah, in the Zoom box at the top it says live on YouTube.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's a little arrow.
Okay, stop.
It should say stop live stream.
Okay, you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.